damn, slow down. I know you see a queen adjusting her crown. She been knocked down, but she never stayed down. She been living life like it's her playground. And they be like, damn, slow down. They can catch us, she be moving too fast. She can't wait up, she be all in her bag.
Hey everyone, what's up? What's up? What's up? Happy Friday, y'all. Happy Friday. Let me just say straight out the gate, are y'all proud of me? I have uploaded every day this week. Every day this week. Like, if no one is going to tell me that they're proud of me, I'm going to tell myself, I am proud of you, Audrey, because this is hard work, okay? Hard work. Hey, Dovely. Hey, AK. Hey, Miss Ray. Cece in India. Hey, y'all. Hey, C. Nicole. So I'm not sure if you guys have heard about this story. Y'all know I'm going to ask y'all every time I go live about the topic if y'all know about it. So have you guys heard about the Minneapolis man by the name of Amir Locke? Have you guys heard about him and what exactly is going on down or up in Minneapolis? Girl, Anisha, it's for real. Showing up in the algorithm, girl. I be trying. Y'all know it's an uphill battle with YouTube, but I said this year I was going to not focus so much on them bothering me, but just focus on talking about what I like, because I don't care if 2 people watch it or 2,000. I still want to talk about these topics. This is what I've always wanted to do. So, yes, C. Nicole said, I saw it on Instagram, but I couldn't watch the video. Now, I am not going to play the video on my channel because watching the video triggered me. Like, I did not know that they were going to show the video, and it's just sad. Brittany said he was in the hospital with the neck brace on. I saw in his pic. No, you're thinking of another man that I talked about a few weeks ago. No, Amir Locke has unfortunately passed away. The video was definitely unbelievable, AK. Like, literally, and I was okay. So y'all know how I am. I watch clips, I read articles because I really want to know before I present it to you guys. So I was on CNN and I was trying to watch the news clip, or what I thought was going to be a news clip, and it was that clip. And I literally dropped my phone and was like, oh my God. Like, I could not believe it. I could not believe it. So if you guys have not heard, today we're going to be talking about Amir Locke. He is a 25-year-old Minneapolis native who on Wednesday, February 2nd, 2002, was barged at his home at around 6, a little bit before 7 a.m. in his home with a no-knock warrant, surrounded by a group of police officers in heavy armory, screaming at him while he was asleep on the couch, wrapped up in a blanket. He jumped up because they kicked the couch to wake him up, telling him to get the fuck down. They used that exact language. And upon him jumping up, he grabbed his firearm. The firearm never got to see the light of day as far as pointing anywhere. And they did shoot Amir 3 times, 2 times in his chest and 1 in his wrist. And he unfortunately passed away from his injuries. Now, if you guys are not familiar with the no-knock warrants, yes, Brittany, no-knock warrant, the easiest example I can give you guys is Breonna Taylor. Now, you guys know her and her boyfriend was sleeping in their home, and the police did the same exact thing to them. The boyfriend thought it was someone breaking in, so he exercised his amendment right to use his firearm, and upon that, the police started to fire back, and they did unfortunately take the life of Breonna Taylor. This was all resulting in a no-knock warrant. Now, eerily similar to the no-knock warrant that was issued for Breonna Taylor's home, that was issued incorrectly to the wrong home. We now know that this is the same situation with Amir Locke. They had the wrong home. The wrong home. It is sad. It's sad. It is sad. This man was asleep on his couch, wrapped up in his blanket. If you guys did not see my thumbnail, that is literally him in that blanket. He was wrapped up. He had no idea. It was dark. He had no idea that this was taking place or that this was going to go on. They had a key to enter his home. So they did not bang. They didn't do anything. They entered his home with a key. It's ridiculous. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and we're going to look at the article together, courtesy of CNN. I do have the, which this is really why I went live, because I wanted to do a reaction to the press conference that took place today. It was powerful because so many people was calling these people out about this situation, and they were not trying to take accountability, but no, people are not here for it. So if you guys can see my screen, the title says body camera video shows Minneapolis officers firing black man during a no-knock warrant. Attorney says he wasn't the target. I would play the video for you guys. I just don't know. If y'all want me to play the video, I'll play the video. Yes, a key, you guys. Yes, they used the key fob to enter the home. I'll play the video. If you guys put one in the chats, if you guys want me to play the video, I'm going to tell you guys it's a trigger warning, but I will play the video for you guys if you guys want to see it. I'll play it. I'll play it. They want this story out. His mom wants this story to be told. So it's not like, we're violating anything. I just don't want to trigger you guys. But if you guys want to see the video, I will play it. And all you have to do is just put one in the chat. Okay, so as you guys see, this is the CNN article. It says, in the morning hours of Wednesday, Minneapolis police gently placed a key in a city apartment door before bursting through the doorway yelling, "Police search warrant." In the seconds that followed, a black man named Amir Locke, apparently asleep and shown to be holding a fire weapon upon awakening, was fired and killed. The shooting by an officer on the SWAT team. This was a warrant for the SWAT team, you guys. The SWAT team. Sorry. In a city that came to represent ground zero for the police reform movement, raised question from Locke's family and others about the city's warrant policy. Now, if you guys did not know, that he lives in the same city that George Floyd lived in. He was murdered by the same people that murdered George Floyd. So it goes deep, you guys. It goes deep. It says, in total, the city released 14 seconds of the real-time video. It's not clear what is contained in the warrant, and the Minneapolis officers have said the totality of circumstances leading to their officer shooting Locke are now under investigation by the state's Bureau of Criminal Apprehension. CNN has not obtained a copy of the warrant. From the limited amount of video the city released, it's not clear how they approached the apartment or how they reacted after the shooting. Police said the warrant was connected to a homicide investigation and that Locke was not named in any search warrants before the entry. Attorneys for the man's family says he was in legal possession of his firearm. So this is what brings the biggest question for me. 1 second, I have to cough. If his name was not listed in any of the search warrant documents, how in the hell did they get the key? I am so confused. How did they get the key and how did they get the unit number? Now, this is a developing story, so of course we know all the details won't be out, but that is what stands out to me. How did they get this key fob? I am so confused. And why are you guys not double checking this paperwork? Checking it with a fine-tooth comb. Like, it makes no sense whatsoever. How did you guys get a key to his place? I did look up the statutes. Y'all know me, so it's coming. I looked up the statutes for this search warrant stuff. So we're gonna get to that. I'm gonna finish reading the article though. It says, according to the Star Tribune, interim Minneapolis Police Chief Amelia Huffman said at a Thursday news conference that both a knock and a no-knock search warrant were obtained for 3 locations within the building where the officer shot the man, but she did not elaborate. I am going to play the press conference that was from yesterday because, like I said, it was something to watch. The fatal shooting brings further scrutiny to the use of the no knock warrants and shines a spotlight on a police department that has faced criticism before. The city garnered significant national media attention in November of 2020 when it announced, amid a nationwide reckoning over police policies prompted in part by the murder of George Floyd by a Minneapolis police officer and the shooting of Breonna Taylor during a warrant search in Louisville, that it was changing its policy. So if you guys did not know, their mayor is named sorry, excuse me. Let me get the official mayor's name because I don't want to mess it up. Mayor Jacob Frey. That's their mayor from Minneapolis. He, back in November of 2020, issued that he was going to basically revise the no knock warrant, all those statutes. So everyone assumed that this was not something that was supposed to be happening anymore. So the fact that they went through with this was news to evidence. I mean, news to everyone. I said news to evidence. News to everyone that they sought this out, knowing that their mayor said that he was going to pause on those. So back to the article. Fix this. Okay. Some touted as an accomplishment that Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey banned no-knock warrants, but the city did not ban no-knock warrants, and like most police department policies, its policy gave wide leeway to field supervisors to make decisions based on conditions they encountered and allows for no-knock warrants in certain situations. So like I just told you guys, everyone assumed that the mayor took away the no-knock warrants policy, when in reality he basically set boundaries that allowed certain things to go on for certain reasons. Now, again, I looked up the statutes and we're going to get into that about what exactly are no knock warrants and what are the statutes or what are the areas that limit them or that allow them. Mayor Frey announced Friday night that he was temporarily banning police from seeking and executing no-knock warrants. Though the policy changed 14 months ago, it still allows for no-knock warrants in certain situations. Hennepin County Attorney Mike Freeman announced Friday that he asked Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison to join his review of the shooting. We will be working with the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension to ensure a thorough and complete evaluation, Freeman said in a statement. Thereafter, we will decide together based on the law and evidence whether criminal charges should be brought. Ellison, in a separate statement, vowed to conduct a fair and thorough investigation, adding, Amir Locke's life mattered. He was only 22 years old and had his whole life ahead of him. His family and friends must now live with the rest of their lives without him. Now, this is what kills me. It's the fact that they said that they need to, after the investigation, see what's going to take place. No, there is no after the investigation. This needs to be an open and shut case. These people need to be up for murder charges, period, point blank. Period, point blank. Okay, Amelia said, I just saw the video on YouTube with the Minneapolis police entering Amir's apartment with no knock warrant. Amir needs justice. Exactly. Like I said, it's a triggering video. You guys did not want me to play it. But if you guys happen to watch it, you guys will see clearly what took place and the reason why the outrage is there. Now, I'm going to get off of this CNN report because we're going to move on to the statutes really quickly where we break down what exactly a no-knock search warrant is. Because for the life of me, I'm not a lawyer, so I looked this up on the internet, you guys. Like, I'm not a lawyer, but I can work my fingers on the computer. So as you guys see, I am on the Minnesota legislature, Office of the Reviser of Statutes, and we are on the 2021 Minnesota statutes. This is statute 626.14, so dot 14. Time and manner of service, no knock search warrants. Subdivision 1, time. A search warrant may be served only between the hours of 7 a.m. and 8 p.m. unless the court determines on basis of facts stated in the affidavits that a nighttime search outside of these hours is necessary to prevent the loss, destruction, or removal of the objects of the search or to protect the searchers or the public. The search warrant shall state that it may be served between the hours of 7 a.m. and 8 p.m. unless a nighttime search outside these hours is authorized. Now, do you guys remember what time the police entered the apartment? Approximately 6:58. According to their statute, warrants are only supposed to be done between the hours of 7 a.m. and 8 p.m. Now, granted, it's just a few minutes off, but again, when we speed just a few miles over the speed limit, we get a ticket, right? Okay. Ricky Lau said he was spending the night at his friend's or cousin's apartment. That's how the police got the key. Huh? Okay, I'm not Ricky, can you elaborate on that? How does him spending the night at anyone's house have to do with the police getting the key? I don't understand. If you don't mind, elaborate in the comments while I continue to read this statute because I don't get what you're saying. Okay, so subdivision 2, definition. For the purposes of this section, no knock search warrant means a search warrant authorizing peace officers to enter certain premises without first knocking and announcing the officer's presence or purpose prior to entering the premises. No knock search warrants also may be referred to as dynamic entry warrants. So let's just remember those words, dynamic entry warrants. Subdivision 3, requirements for a no-knock search warrant. No peace officer shall seek a no-knock search warrant unless the warrant application includes, at a minimum, all documentation and materials the issuing court requires. 2, the information is specified in a paragraph and a sworn affidavit as provided in the section of 626.08. Each warrant application seeking a no-knock entry must include in detailed terms the following: why peace officers are seeking to use the use of no-knock entry and are unable to detain the suspect or search the residence through the use of a knock and announce warrant. What investigative activities have taken place to support the issuance of the no-knock search warrant, or why no investigative activity is needed or able to be performed, and whether the warrant can be effectively executed during late daylight hours according to Subdivision 1. Remember, Subdivision 1 is 7 a.m. They violated that. They did not follow that. It was dark. Anyway, the chief law enforcement officer or designee and other superior officer must review and approach each warrant application. The agency must document the approval of both reviewing parties. D. A no-knock search warrant shall not be issued when the only crime alleged is possession of a controlled substance, unless there is probable cause to believe that the controlled substance is for other than personal use. Subdivision 4, reporting requirements regarding no-knock search warrants. Law enforcement agencies shall report to the consumer of public safety regarding the use of no-knock search warrants in a format prescribed by the commissioner. An agency must report the use of a no-knock search warrant to the commissioner no later than 3 months after the date of the warrant was issued. The report shall include the following information: the number of no-knock search warrants requested, the number of no-knock search warrants the court issued, the number of no-knock search warrants executed, the number of inquiries and fatalities suffered, if any, by police officers and by civilians in the execution of no-knock search warrants, and any other information the Commissioner requests. The Commissioner of Public Safety shall report the information provided under paragraph A annually to the chairs and ranking minority members of the legislative committees with jurisdiction over public safety. So I know that was lengthy, you guys, but I wanted to read that to you guys because as you guys heard, they actually look at all statistics and facts when it comes to these no-knock warrants. They look at the risk of public safety. This is in their statute. They have to analyze the risk of public safety. And unfortunately, the risk is a great risk. So why is this still going on? And why did the police not follow their own statute by violating it by going before 7 a.m.? Things that make you go, And the reason why I try my hardest on my channel to break down things but show you guys proof is because no one would have looked at that fine print of the timestamp of it was before 7 a.m. But their legal statute that they have to follow says that it has to be between the hours of 7 a.m. and 8 p.m. They violated that. So that right there means it's a problem. Things that make you go, Let me get back into these comments really quickly. So Ricky said the police gave the name of the leaseholder who was not Amir. They also could have just stated that they had a search warrant for the residents. They don't necessarily need the name of the leaseholder. The property manager of the complex would rather give the key than the door damaged by being... Yeah, so Ricky, we got that. The issue is in that home, was that home, the cousin, the friend, wherever he was at, was that one of the units that was supposed to be raided? Because it was 3 units, but was that one of them? Because what they're saying is no. Cece says, so Ricky, if it wasn't Amir, it would have made somebody else. Still unnecessary. Exactly, Cece. Ricky said, I'm not saying it was necessarily. I definitely think the police are wrong. Yeah, we're not saying that you're saying that it's unnecessary. What we're saying is still, nonetheless, this is a very, very dangerous public safety issue. And that is going to be the trending word throughout this live because I am just using their words on them, their analysis on them. When it comes to the Minneapolis Police Department, they have this statute that they have to follow. And I just proved that they broke number 1 time. When they went in, they was already violating. And then everything from there just went downhill. And we, as far as analyzing public safety, cannot allow this to continue to happen. It's a whole bunch of shoulda, woulda, couldas. So why do we have policies in place if you guys are just going to break them or bend them as you will? Really weird. So, like I told you guys, there was a press conference that was held yesterday. And in my opinion, it really did bring insight to just see that Minneapolis is not here for it. Minneapolis, the citizens of Minneapolis is fed up. As I told you guys, George Floyd was killed by the same police. We know the issues and dangers with no-knock warrants. First of all, they make no complete sense to me. You guys know that this is not working, so why keep doing it? But whatever. So in the press conference, of course, we had the chief of police talk, but then there was a lady that got up. She is like a civil rights activist. She got up and basically ripped the lady a new one, but real PC, real politically correct. So I wanted to go ahead and show this to you guys so you guys can see the video. One second before I do that. Ricky said, we don't know about the warrants yet. The actual warrants are sealed by court right now. Yeah. Okay.
We're breaking in and bringing you an update about the deadly police officer-involved shooting during a SWAT raid in Minneapolis. Mayor Jacob Frey and Interim Police Chief Amelia Huffman are now reacting to the newly released video and are taking questions. We're going to take a listen.
Good evening. Our city has been through a lot. The pain that we've been experiencing on a weekly, if not daily basis, is only compounded by the complexities of the circumstances that we face. That's something that I've been grappling with every day, and I know people in our city have as well. Now, in grappling with it and having some of these hard discussions that we need to have, one of the first steps that is necessary is transparency, good, bad, or ugly. And in achieving transparency, it's essential, and it was essential in this case, that we release the body-worn camera footage. I do want to make sure that you understand the considerations that are in place when we release body-worn camera footage and making sure that we're transparent every step of the way. First, prior to releasing the footage, we want to make sure that the family that is grieving has an opportunity to see it first. That is a non-negotiable for me. Second, about a year ago, we instituted a policy in place that prohibited officers involved in a critical incident from reviewing body-worn camera footage prior to giving a statement. Now, that policy in some instances is in fact trumped by the state law. The state law says that body-worn camera footage is private or non-public unless one of several exceptions are met. Those exceptions are somewhat arbitrary and in general are to be determined by local elected officials. The state law should be changed so that there is more clarity, there is more transparency, and people throughout our city know what to expect with regards to its release. Anyone who watches these videos, no matter the circumstances, at the very least experiences a deep and unsettled feeling. It's gut-wrenching. No matter the circumstances, a man, Amir Locke, has lost his life. A family is grieving and has forever been changed. Regardless of the circumstances, we must hold those facts in our heart. This video raises about as many questions as it does answers, and those answers we need to be providing as quickly as possible through a number of investigations that are in fact already underway, whether through the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension or the St. Paul or Minneapolis police departments. We intend to do not want to put,
I am so sorry. The mayor said a whole bunch of nothing. I listen to press conferences. Y'all know I do this. I was just like, sir, move. Like, he said a whole bunch of nothing. It sounded like mashed potatoes, and I am so sorry, but I could not take it. So I tried to just give you guys a little entrance, just so y'all can see. That was the mayor. He is basically trying to cover up his words because he knows in 2020 that people was under the impression that no-knock warrants were going away. He knows that. So he was just trying to cover his butt. But who we have on the screen now is the interim chief of the Minneapolis police. We're going to listen to her because as she's talking, as she's talking, the people in the audience are literally talking back to her, and you can tell that she was ill prepared for what was about to go down. I know she's the interim chief police, but maybe the mayor should have finished talking. I don't know, but it was bad. And I'm just going to go ahead and finish playing it for you guys. Ricky said he blatantly told the community he does not support defunding the MPD. Of course he's going to say that. Ricky, do you live in Minneapolis? My aunt lives there, and I was going to call her after my live to talk about this just to see how she feels about everything, because I would love to see someone who lives there tell me how it's going. And she lives in the area. So back to the video.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening. Let me first acknowledge, like Mayor Frey, the loss and pain in our community. These events unfold in seconds, but the trauma is long-lasting. A young man lost his life, and his friends and family are in mourning. Community members are in pain and have questions, and rightfully so. And the course of the lives of our officers has been changed forever. It's a sobering moment. Community trust is a public safety requirement. In Minneapolis, our community safety work is only as good as the public trust that we have built, and we have plenty of work ahead of us. Events like this tonight, as well as community conversations that I've had yesterday and today, are part of that work. The decision that we made to release this footage is not necessarily common among local governments, but I believe it is the right decision. My initial priority, like Mayor Fry's.
And what I'm getting from this, if you guys have not noticed, and this is why this lady is going to get ripped a new one. She basically was coming off as if we did you guys a favor. We are showing you guys, this footage because, in good faith. That's how she was talking, as if we deserve, like as if, they did us a favor, when in reality, them releasing this footage was because people said, we know that y'all have this. We know that you guys are known to lie. We need to see what the hell happened to Amir Locke, a 22-year-old man with no run-ins with the law, who was asleep. So yes, y'all releasing this footage does not mean that you guys are good at all and that you guys did not violate your own policies. There is still a lot that you guys need to take accountability for. Ricky said, I do not. I'm a private investigator that specializes in police procedures and homicide investigation. Keeping up the current events, especially police shootings, is my due diligence. Wow, I like that career, Ricky. I like that. Okay. Someone that looks into what they are doing. I like that. So in your opinion, what do you feel like is going to take place within this? Because this is the second run-in with the Minneapolis Police Department. Do you think that they can come back from this? I personally don't think so. I feel like, this is a big one.
Was for the parents of this young man to be able to see this video before it was released to the public. And they had the opportunity to do so this afternoon. I'm grateful to all of the folks in the city whose work made it possible for us to release this video to you tonight, and to Mayor Fry for his partnership and his shared commitment to building public trust and rebuilding community safety. I'm under no illusion that processing this video will be easy. It won't be. It shouldn't be. These are wrenching videos to watch. They're painful. But it's necessary. And I hope that it provides some answers along with the questions. And so here is a brief recap of the events that led up to the video and the events that you saw in the video. So as many of you know, this involves an underlying homicide investigation that was undertaken by the St. Paul Police Department. Their investigation led them to identify several suspects and 3 locations in the city of Minneapolis. And they asked the Minneapolis Police Department SWAT team to execute the search warrant at 3 apartments in the building on Marquette. Both a no-knock and a knock search warrant were obtained for those locations so that the SWAT team could assess the circumstances and make the best possible decision about entry. As you saw in the video, the team approached the door and they used a key. There was no need to force entry. There was no breaching. There was no ram involved. They used a key to open the door and announced police search warrant before they crossed the threshold. The team was announcing police search warrant as they proceeded into the apartment. Their job was to make entry deliberately to assess any threats that were inside. As they proceeded toward the back of the apartment, as you saw in the video, there was a couch. And you can see that there's a form under a blanket or a comforter that begins to rise up. The officers were approaching. They were giving commands to show your hands, show your hands. And as they got close, you can see, along with an individual emerging from under the blanket,
Now, as you guys notice, in while she's speaking, everyone was letting her have it as far as letting her say this. But if you guys actually watch the video, then you guys know that this isn't correct. What she's saying did not appear to be true facts about what took place. And the main one was show your hands, them announcing themselves. Like, none of that was true if you guys watched the video. Brittany said that's even worse. Using a key means there is no time to calm any fear of knocking or banging. Exactly. And that's the reason that you'll see later on in a few minutes why people get so upset, because she basically was trying to make an excuse for everything that took place, and say it was because the officers had to act quickly. They had to act swiftly, but what she was failing to realize was Amir Locke was doing the same thing, and he has a right to stand his ground if he feels like he's being threatened. And again, he sleep on the couch. You guys did not knock. You guys used the key. All these things while he's sleeping will startle anyone, because if someone was to come into my home while I'm sleeping, police or not, my husband laying next to me will most definitely grab his firearm as well, especially because he's licensed to carry and it's a registered firearm. It is his right. The people were correct to get busy in the streets after George Floyd. That got the attention of the state. They failed in proper follow-up political action. I agree, Ricky. I definitely agree. And I liked your comment that you said earlier. The outcome of this incident is depending on the people of Minneapolis. If you guys were not in my live where I spoke about how important it is to know who is in the office and what they stand for, making sure you are in the know of your state, I talked about this regarding the Lawrence Smith Fields case and how the Bridgeport, Connecticut police has mistreated her and several other families within, their whole time. But again, they also were officers that are convicted felons. These are officers that have been fired. These are officers that have been on record for police brutality. Like, it's the worst of the worst. So it's important that you guys exercise your right, because you guys are the ones that really can get people out of office and get change to happen. And people say, oh, it takes so long. Y'all been saying that. But we've been saying it because people are not actually listening. The only time that it's hyped up about voting is when it comes to the presidential vote. But what people fail to realize is the people that put the president in the office are the people such as the Senate. So if you don't know who your senates are, you don't know anybody in your state office, that is when it's a problem. So I'll get off my soapbox. Jacqueline said, I watched the video and it didn't happen. Exactly, Miss Jacqueline. It did not. As would I. So let's go ahead and finish.
The barrel of a gun, which comes out from the blanket and becomes more fully exposed as you move frame by frame through the video. And then the still shot shows the image of the firearm in the subject's hands at the best possible moment when the lighting was fully on him. That's the moment when the officer had to make a split-second decision to assess the circumstances and determine whether he felt like there was an articulable threat, that the threat was of imminent harm, great bodily harm, or death, and that he needed to take action right then to protect himself and his partners. Ultimately, that decision of whether that threshold was met will be examined.
So as I told you guys earlier, Amir Locke suffered 3 gunshot wounds, 2 in the chest and 1 in the wrist. But as you guys just heard her say, the officer had to make a split-second decision to protect himself and others around him. But they're not acknowledging the fact that Amir literally was doing the same exact thing as he was asleep on the couch. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy.
By the county attorney's office that reviews this case. The homicide investigation in St. Paul is ongoing. Mr. Locke was not named in the original search warrant. And so at this point, it is unclear if or how he is connected to St. Paul's investigation, but they are continuing to work dedicatedly on that case. They were on scene They did search and recover items that they believe are of evidentiary value in their homicide investigation, and that work continues. The investigation by the BCA is ongoing. The Minneapolis Police Department will also make an assessment of policy and procedure violations in a separate internal administrative investigation. There are multiple jurisdictions and multiple investigations bound up in this discussion, and that makes information sharing extremely complicated. I want to be direct with you. Due to the multi-jurisdictional considerations, I am limited in what I can say. I'm going to take questions, as will the mayor, and we will do our best.
Chief, this was a cacophony. This young man, presumably sleeping, had very little time to react. He was probably stunned. I mean, are you going to look at your policies and possibly call this justifiable in the wake of everyone seeing this footage?
So we will definitely look at all of the events in this case that.
So hopefully you guys were able to hear what the reporter just said. She basically said that in the wake of all this man was just waking up. He was clearly stunned. Are you guys going to evaluate your policies and look into this? Because as we seen in the footage, this man was clearly somebody that was asleep. He was simply reacting because he thought he was in danger. This is where it goes downhill. So we're going to get back into it. Hey, Gardening Gal. Hey, K-Bond. And hey, Miss Brader's Life. Thank you guys for joining the video. If you guys probably are going to have to move the toggle back because I've been on here for about 40 minutes. And right now we're watching the press conference of the Amir Locke police situation where this 22-year-old man was shot and killed due to a no-knock warrant. Ricky said, I'm not sure if you know yet. St. Paul police asked for a regular knock and announced warrant. MPD insisted on the no knock. No, Ricky, I did not know that. Wow, I did not know that. I'm going to have to look into that. Yeah, this is taking a turn for the worse. Okay, let me get back to the video.
That led up to this incident. We will be re-examining our policies, of course. Our agency is committed to meeting best practices and tactical operations among agencies vary wildly. There is no single best practice for making these kind of entries. And even among agencies in the Twin Cities, agencies may use different tactics on different search warrants, and different agencies have different policies. So certainly I think that will be a valuable conversation.
Was Mr. Locke a suspect in any crime at all?
I cannot speak for the investigation in St. Paul because I don't have the facts of that case, but St. Paul is working to understand the evidence that they collected and the underlying facts of their homicide investigation. And I have been assured by Chief Axtell that they will make information public as soon as they have it available.
Chief, define threshold, because you can clearly see in the video that no words were spoken by those officers before they entered the door. Yesterday, you said that they were loudly announcing their presence and knocking at the door before, but that didn't happen. You saw it all in the video.
Right. So in the video, they open the door with the key and announce police search warrant before they enter the apartment.
That's not true. If you go back and watch the video, they do not say until they cross the threshold of the door. It's just not true.
I definitely encourage everyone to view the video and make that assessment for themselves.
So one thing that stood out to me was when the reporter asked if Amir Locke was a suspect in any case. It's so bad how people equate criminal records to being killed. If he was a suspect in any crimes, it still does not justify the fact that this man was killed in a manner that he was killed in. It does not matter. Like, they are so quick. Mainstream media is so quick to blast someone's criminal record, which he does not have. I'm going to state that for you guys right now. Amir Locke was a 22-year-old boy, barely legal to drink. He did not have any criminal record at all. But if he did, why is it so hard for you to say that he wasn't? Like, she's like, we can't speak on that. Girl, it's a no. And you guys like to hang on those little cliffhangers to justify your ill actions. And it pisses me off. It really does. Garden Gal said, either he was a suspect or not. I hope they don't try to draw some type of connection. Exactly, Garden. Like, that's exactly what they do. They do this, and it makes no sense. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. You guys went in there, and you did a poor job, and that is what the problem was. It doesn't matter if he ran 3 red lights 3 years ago, which he did not. But speaking hypothetically, if he did, what does that have to do with what you guys did? Makes no sense. Ricky said the warrant is from a homicide investigation. It was a search warrant, which means they were looking for evidence, not a person. Thank you, Ricky. Exactly.
Is it true that officers are only to speak one at a time when they come in? In other words, is that police training 101 that only one officer speaks? In these circumstances, why were all of them screaming and shouting at once in ways that you could not determine what they were actually even saying?
So certainly when we're doing a more controlled action, like a felony stop, we clearly identify one person to be speaking. In this case, the officers were advancing into the apartment and also into separate rooms. And so you do have people giving commands, loud commands, and repeating police search warrant, police search warrant.
Chief, yesterday in your statement, you specifically articulated that he pointed the gun in the direction of the officers. You did not use that language just now. Can you point to specifically in the video where he points the gun at the officer?
Yeah, so if you look at that still image, even though you don't see all of the officers, the involved officer was just outside the frame in the direction that that barrel is emerging from the blanket.
But it looked to me as if that gun in Mr. Locke's hand was pointed toward the floor.
And certainly when the county attorney's office reviews that case, they will be carefully examining all of those factors. And I'm absolutely positive they will take a look at that. Of course, we all know.
Now, Ricky, you stated earlier that the interim chief Huffman was actually in charge of the training and the police and the MPD prior to becoming the interim chief. I would honestly say she's doing a horrible job up here, because what she is doing is trying to tell people what they saw was something that they did not see. And she keeps saying, I would, encourage everyone to take a look at that. No, they did. They did. And they're calling it out. These are this was communications 101. This was a flop. And it really showed that you guys should have took more time to figure out what y'all was going to say, because this is terrible. This is terrible. Ricky brought up another good point. He said, usually the evidence sought in a homicide investigation is something that you cannot flush away like a gun. No-knock warrants are usually for trap houses that are subject to flush drugs. Exactly. So, Ricky, I don't know if you was in my live or listening, but I already read the statutes of what no-knock warrants are usually for, and that stood out to me, and that's the reason why I actually read what the statute is for no-knock warrants for Minneapolis, because I was intrigued to know. So I knew right then that the no-knock warrants versus what they were going for did not match up. She was told to say what she was saying. Poor girl. Poor girl. Poor girl. This is not... Oof. You can tell. Look how red she is, y'all. You can tell.
These events happen very rapidly, and as there's a gun emerging in your direction, you're forced to make a split-second decision about when it's a threat.
One more thing, y'all. I'm sorry, I'm gonna let the video play. But as you guys just heard, she said when a gun is in your face, you're forced to make a split-second decision about what is occurring. The same could ring true for Amir Locke, who was laying in the bed or laying on the couch in a blanket, and you are sworn around with multiple guns in your face. So hence why he jumped up and grabbed his gun, because he don't know who the fuck y'all are and what y'all doing. So the same rings true for Amir. It's ridiculous.
Chief Huffman, no, hold on. Chief Huffman, no, do not. Okay, I'm not a threat. I don't have a gun. Okay, don't treat me like I'm a threat. This is what I would call the anatomy of a cover-up. This is unacceptable. I'm sorry, it is. When I agreed to work with you on the work group, we talked about the importance of transparency and accountability. And here, what we are seeing is business as usual. And you know this, Amelia. You know this, Jacob. I don't know how you guys slept that night. I couldn't sleep at night. Tears from a mother's perspective, thinking about what happened. I saw the picture of Amir. He looks like a boy. My son is 17 years old. He has slept on his friends' couches for sleepovers. So we cannot sit here and whitewash this and pretend that it's okay. You knew that I was not going to stand for police violence and a push for accountability, yet you asked me to be a part of the work group. And I knew what I thought I was signed up for. This isn't what I signed up for. I understand if you're not comfortable having me continue to co-chair, that's your prerogative. I signed up to help bring recommendations because we're tired of being killed. We're tired of the cover-ups. We're tired of the excuses. And to hide behind the St. Paul Police Department, the deadliest police force in the state of Minnesota, is unacceptable. You all had no business agreeing to carry out a warrant, and now you're claiming that's part of their investigation. You don't know. Well, why the hell did you all sign up to do this in the first place? There was a homicide that happened at 1-something in the morning on Hennepin Avenue. Someone was killed, and then the person drove away in a black SUV. They're still at large in Minneapolis, potentially a threat to residents. But you all go do something for St. Paul Police, and now you're trying to hide behind that decision. It's not acceptable. We are ready for change. When the people voted to re-elect you, Jacob, they not only showed that they wanted to see a new leader, right? Not saying you're not the person who got re-elected, you got re-elected. But what they were expecting is a new beginning. That's why they gave you more power and authority. So that is what we want to see as the residents of Minneapolis. We don't want to see cover-ups. We don't want to see whitewashing. People are asking very simple questions that have still not been answered. Amelia, you're saying you want to be the chief? Then act like it. Demonstrate integrity. Don't cover up for what those cops did. If they knew that the kid had a gun as he started waking up, say, drop your weapon. They didn't do that. One cop opened fire and took the life of a child who was trying to go back into his blanket. Any mom can see what happened there. So I can't tolerate the whitewashing. I'm sorry, y'all. We can't do this. I know you have your narrative. I know you have your script. And no, you guys didn't personally go shoot somebody, but you do have the opportunity to make it right, to talk about the fact that you changed the no-knock warrant policy. Where's the evidence of that? That wasn't present on what happened to Amir Locke. So if I'm going to be the co-chair of this group, I'm expecting strong leadership. I'm expecting integrity, and I'm expecting accountability. Yes. You guys aren't going to waste my goddamn time. And I don't care, you guys had your security trying to stop me. I can be used to come speak the truth about what needs to happen. But when it's time to call out these inconsistencies, these inaccuracies, the lack of information, I got to sit in the back or even not even be invited. I'm not here for it. We fought too long, too hard. There's people in jail, including Cortez Rice, trying to get the court to show what's happening in the courtroom so people can see what's going on. People have put their lives on the line because we're ready for change. So we're expecting from this point forward for you guys to do something different. I'm not playing. We're not here for it. We're not here for it. I'm only committed to working on this work group if you all are committed to being honest and transparent and not covering up the bullshit. Thank you.
Why did you release pictures of his gun, but no pictures of the gun of the officer who killed him? Why have you not released that information? You know, this man did not shoot anyone. He did not discharge his weapon. Why did you release his gun? That was a disgusting vilification of this man. That is inexcusable. It is utterly disgusting that you would release a picture of his gun, even though he never fired his weapon. And you know he didn't fire his weapon because you had both seen the video. This is the kind of lack of transparency that Nakeem is exactly talking about. When you send out these sensationalistic pictures of his gun, a man who has never committed a crime, but you don't release the video, or rather the pictures of the officer's gun.
So Miss Gross, thank you for being here. And Miss Levy Armstrong, thank you for your strong words. You acknowledged and
It's the adjectives for me. It's the adjectives. He said, "Thank you for your strong words." What the hell does that mean, y'all? What? That part takes me out every time because what do you mean? And then the fact that they re-elected this man, like, no, y'all didn't. No, y'all didn't re-elect him. He said, "Thank you for your strong words, and I thank you for your, not thank you for your powerful words. Not fuck, powerful wouldn't even. Thank you for your honest words. I don't even know what strong words is. Like, that's not how people talk. Like, being PC, politically correct or not, I've never said something like that. Thank you for your strong words. It's really weird. That's not a reporter. She is an activist, and they are eating them alive. If you guys can tell by the look on his face, he is flushed and like he has no words. He has no words. He was there standing like a stiff brick wall with his hands behind his back. He was like anchored on the floor. He didn't know what to say when she was talking, and she spoke absolute facts. But what really moved me was, you guys can tell, even with her being strong and speaking out, you guys can tell that she was holding back so much hurt, especially when she said she has a 17-year-old son, and the fact that they asked her to, partner with them to do this. She is a civil rights lawyer, and she is a Black woman. You guys know this is all for numbers. A lot of times people call on civil rights lawyers or activists, Black women, Black men, to be a part of a campaign, but they have little to no idea what exactly is going on, and they have little to no power about, really inflicting that change. They just are there for the numbers, or just, for the say we had so many people partnered with us type thing. So I can tell that she pondered on speaking up, and I am so happy that she actually spoke out, because it was needed. It was needed.
rightfully pointed out that at this moment in time, we need accountability, we need leadership, and we need transparency. You asked whether we wanted you to continue as co-chair. The answer is yes. We are dead serious about seeing the necessary changes through, and the necessary changes start with being honest and transparent. That begins with all of you here today and releasing body camera footage in the immediacy so that people can see exactly what is in it, good, bad, or ugly. But it doesn't stop there. It goes on to getting the necessary facts of the case, and I know, speaking from experience, that there is an ongoing tension between getting things out quickly and getting things right. We want to get things right. We want to, excuse me, we want to gather the necessary evidence to make sure that we are not telling you something that is inaccurate now, only to correct it a day later.
Why was Amir Locke referred to as a suspect?
And so I'm going to ask.
Why was Amir Locke referred to as a suspect in the MPD's press release?
I don't know. So can you speak to that?
Why was his gun pictures released?
So, but we could do one question at a time. We do want to answer the questions, but
So this is where his true colors started to show. He was trying to basically, revive himself and the interim chief. He was basically trying to, finish with a bang and stick to the script, because he has people that is, calling the shots above him, that is making sure that he does this correctly. But what was funny to me was he was taking out his frustrations on being checked on the poor little reporters and other people in the seats that was asking him questions about, 1 second, let me speak. No, the thing is, y'all said y'all was opening the floor to questions, and y'all haven't answered any questions. So it really tickled me when he was getting flustered, and it's like he knows that he has to say certain things to appease the overhead, but it was not working. The people was like, hell no, we are not here for it.
we'd also prefer just to one question at a time. To your question, I do not know.
Does the chief know? Can the chief answer that question?
Go ahead.
So yesterday, at the time that we were putting out the press release, we didn't have as much information as we have now, of course. And so it's unclear, certainly unclear yesterday, but it remains unclear if or how Mr. Locke is connected to St. Paul's investigation. And more information will be coming as St. Paul digs further into the case.
Why did you refer to him as a suspect in a press release if you didn't
That's all the
know?
time we have, everyone. Let's call it.
No.
Was anyone apprehended as part of this?
Also,
When will you release your search warrant?
how is walking out of a press conference transparency? You are a murderer!
You owe us answers.
This is a shame. This is what we have been fighting against. This is what we've been fighting against since George Floyd was killed. Running away from accountability and transparency. This is shame. Residents or people in Minneapolis need to know this cannot continue. They killed a young man who was sleeping. He did not even have a chance. And for a lot of the media already shared the one where he had the gun holding it. You know, if you are anybody who's a gun owner, that if your finger is out, you are preparing, but you are not ready to fire because you don't even know who's in front of you. This young man did not have a chance. This was Breonna Taylor in Minneapolis, and even worse. And the mayor and the chief are running away from questions.
I have to say it.
So let's say you have to read an incredibly long email from your boss that you have to finish before the big meeting starts in 10 minutes.
I have to say it. All right, I'm getting up here as fast as I can. You saw what happened just now when I asked about why they released those pictures of his gun, though they never made an allegation that he fired it. And you can clearly see in the video that it was never fired. In fact, he never even pointed it at an officer. But yet they will not answer the question of why they released that sensationalistic, demonizing picture. But yet they did not release anything about the officer except his name until finally now. And they certainly did not release a picture of his gun. Wouldn't that be more relevant to news media? That was the gun that was fired. Why would they release a picture of this man's gun? What was the sole purpose of that? Well, we know what it was. It was sensationalistic demonization of a victim of police murder, plain and simple. And I'm disgusted by it. I'm disgusted by the fact that these elected officials and appointed officials cannot actually answer a simple question. They said, we'll do one question at a time. I think I asked my question 3 times. Why did you release the pictures of that gun? What was the purpose of releasing those pictures? And yet they ran away. Time's up. Ran away without ever answering that question. There was not one legitimate reason for releasing that picture. It was about associating a man with a gun to try to create a narrative to justify what the police did. That is what happened here tonight. That's what happened when they released that yesterday. It is reprehensible. It is disgusting. We are not tolerating it as a community any longer. And that's why we had to be here tonight. Thank you.
Again, you were just watching as Mayor Jacob Frye, interim chief of
Anisha, I am cracking up because you hit it right on the head. You know, people tired when they start walking up having their own press conference. Exactly. The people was like, you know what? Fuck it. Y'all don't want to answer the questions. We still gonna get up here and say it for the record. And the part that really got me was the woman that was last speaking. She pointed out a good fact. She said, "Why did y'all refer to him as a suspect even though he wasn't? Why did y'all say that? Why did y'all highlight his gun but not the office, anything about the officers or the case?" Those are the things that they do to try to get it out into media and cover up their wrongdoings. It's all an agenda. It's all the same pattern over and over. We always have to know the worst of the victims before we are able to even find out the truth regarding that controlled situation. This situation didn't have anything to do with the man, besides the fact that y'all unlocked the front door while a man was sleeping, kicked the couch to wake him up, and was pointing multiple guns at him because you guys were a part of a SWAT team. Just ridiculous. Ricky said, "I want to reiterate that Amir Locke never committed a crime up until the moment of his death." Exactly. Exactly. This was a young man, and his mom and father actually spoke out, and it broke my heart because I told you guys this, and I really am going to look into this and like come up with, y'all know how I like to like edit stuff. I'm going to come up with some type of video to show you guys how the media is fascinated with Black women crying on television because they love to highlight this. Like it's so weird. It's like the moment that a tragedy happens, we don't get time to think or do anything. We get shoved in front of the camera. But the opposite happened with Amir Locke. His mom went up there and spoke powerfully and straight to the point. His father got up there and he was shooken, you guys. He was not prepared for this at all. He was not ready, and he was holding back and fighting tears. And I this situation is sad, but it gave me chills to watch because they point us out, they point out our broken homes, point out our imperfections, and this man got up there and he was showing that he was in his son's life. He loved his son. And I know him being a father, him being a parent, all he could think was, I did everything right and this still happened. Because we always think about that. We do everything right to shield and protect our kids, and things like this happen. It's really, really sad. Oh, Ricky said he's been over this all day. I can tell because you know a lot about the case. You know a lot about it. So, you guys, I thank you guys for rocking with me. I wanted to bring awareness to this and talk about it because I didn't see anyone else talking about it. So that meant a lot of people didn't know that this was even going on. So, you guys, what was I about to say? I forgot what I was about to say to y'all. I had something to talk about with Amir. I can't even think. But yeah, if you guys watch the video, proceed with caution because it is sad. But if you guys do watch it, then you guys know why the people were so upset with the interim chief, because she was definitely lying. She was definitely lying, and the people was not here for it at all. Does anyone in the chat live in Minneapolis? Does anyone know, anyone that lives there? Like I said, my aunt lives there, so I'm going to ask her. Garden Gal said, I had no idea. This was my first time hearing of this. Yeah. And that's the reason why I really did move my content in a different direction, because I'm like, you know what? I know that we could benefit from learning a lot of stuff from each other. Yep, exactly. Police and the media trying to spin the narrative. Damn shame. And this one is just the worst of the worst. But it's just like what they did to George Floyd. They talk about everything besides the fact that they sat on that man's neck. Like, it doesn't matter what he did. It does not matter. We are not supposed to be the judge and the jury and the executioner for these people. But this man really didn't do anything. And to see him wrapped up in a blanket just breaks my heart. 22 years old, not old enough to do pretty much of anything. Thank you, Garden. I appreciate it. So you guys, yeah, send the people my way. Let them know that y'all over here enjoying my content. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. Y'all know I'll be back with another story to talk about. I actually was going to talk about the two, the girl, her name was Tiani Theus. She was the one that was found on the side of the highway with gunshot wounds. And then I was going to talk about, oh my God, did I? Yeah, I'm telling you, all these names are running together. All these names are running together of who I was going to talk about. My whole schedule is in shambles. Freaking shambles. Let me get my notes out to see who else I was going to talk about. And then I was going to talk about a 17-year-old girl that has been missing, and her family believed that it was her name was Zion Foster. It was sex trafficking. The weird thing about both of these cases, Tiani and Zion, is both of the families are saying the same thing. They feel like it has something to do with sex trafficking. And then if you guys did not know, Tisha Campbell just spoke out about her run-in and how she was saying that someone was trying to sex traffic her. So I wanted to talk about those two stories and bring awareness to that, because Zion is still missing, and the person she was last with is still refusing to talk to the police. He is in jail, but he's not giving any information. And then, yeah, Cool Jazz, you gotta rewind. Somebody get ad spun in this. Can somebody block him? Because I don't got time. He's a Blue Lives Matter person. Go ahead and block him. Garden Gal, yes, I heard about the Michaela Bryant story. Oh, sorry, excuse me. I heard about the Michaela Bryant story. That one was really sad as well. I didn't add her to my roster to talk about because I've seen a lot of people have already covered it, but not Zion or Tiani. And then the Tisha Campbell talking about sex trafficking just tied it all together. So I'm working on that, and I'll be presenting that to you guys next week. But I'm going to let you guys go for the night. I hope you guys enjoy your weekend. Stay safe, stay blessed, and I will see. Yes, Miss Rice, I can make you a mod when I get off of here, because I'm on StreamYard, so I can't do anything with my mods. Let me see. Let me get on my okay, I'll do it when I get done, Miss Rice. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and end the live here. I will see you guys in another one. Please don't forget to subscribe on your way out.
And thank you. Oh yeah, thank you, Ms. Marcel. Yo, all props to you. And just be you keep doing what you doing. And you got a voice. Keep doing what you doing. And you got a voice.